Hello there, good afternoon. This is NationWide, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. And I am Joseph Johnson. Many thanks for your company. We begin with the legislature, where public anxiety arising from the process's likely impact and the way forward for the nation's legislature were the issues debated on today's episode of NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria. Guests on the program agreed on the need for the legislature to address the seeming disconnect between it and the people, as well as the executive arm of government. Panshaji tells us more.
The National Assembly is required by law to sit for at least 181 legislative days in a year. The frequent recess by the 8th National Assembly have left many in the country, especially political pundits, wondering if the lawmakers are conscious of these constitutional provisions. Available records show that the two chambers of the 8th National Assembly have sat for only 14 times since inauguration 72 days ago, and the 6-week recess by the lawmakers taken recently has raised public concerns. Experts say the break should have been shifted to allow the legislature attend to urgent matters of national importance.
It is not enough to just reel out a number of issues on which the National Assembly intends to make laws. You must say where you're going and what you want to achieve.
Talking about solving the problem of Boko Haram and talking about poverty, unemployment. These are some of the things that they should focus on.
Identifying the achievement of these functions of the arm of government cannot be achieved without active and responsible relationship with the executive arm of government.
Lawmakers who were guests on the program while reacting to this say the 6-week recess is the annual constitutional vacation of the legislators.
Within these few weeks that we have sat, we have achieved a lot. 35 bills have been initiated and uploaded during plenary, within these weeks that we have sat. Specifically on Wednesday, a day before we went for a recess, 14 were uploaded, and then the rest 21 the following day.
Tensions are quite high. Nigerians are expecting so much, especially in the new government. We are aware of that, and that's why we are doing everything within our powers to meet up the time.
Though the lawmakers on the panel attempted to justify the incessant breaks and recess, political analysts wonder how the 8th National Assembly will be proactive in promulgating laws for the good governance of the country if they continue this way. In Abuja, Panshaji, NTA News.
In the meantime, the House of Representatives' resolution to ensure that budgets are effectively implemented led to the formation of ad hoc committee to investigate the implementation of capital budgets. This resolution came while the House was considering a motion moved by Representative Patrick Asadi from Enugu State in their last plenary of Thursday, 13th August 2015. The legislators frowned at the non-implementation of some capital budgets, which are very significant to the well-being of Nigerians.
As with previous governments and as with previous appropriations, that all the appropriations made, and more, what is more also is that we are spending about 4 trillion on recurrent, but about 500 billion on capital is not being implemented. So I have a motion on this privilege, and I hope that this has obliged you. This budget was passed and signed into law by the former president on May 6th. So it is important that we do not give the impression, which is what I've heard during the debate, that this present government has refused to implement budget and that we're in the third quarter.
To other matters now, the Group Managing Director of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, Dr. Ibe Chikachuku, has stated his resolve to usher in a new dawn of transparency through the periodic publications of the corporation's financial transactions, insisting that transparency must be the watchword of every staff in the new NNPC. Dr. Kachaku, who stated this at his maiden town hall meeting with the staff of the corporation at the NNPC Towers, Abuja, said the new NNPC of his dream is a corporation anchored on the foundation of transparency, charging the staff to break away from the old culture and bring creative solutions to the numerous challenges facing the corporation. The GMD said with the kind of change he has in mind, the staff cannot afford to continue with business as usual.
We want strict emergency procedures on how everyone should respond in case of an emergency.
He said the change in the new NNPC would be anchored on the three key issues of people, processes, and profit, adding that the people element was key to the success of the other two elements, which was the reason personnel motivation was dear to his heart. President Petroleum and National Gas Senior Staff Association Francis Johnson and his National Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers counterpart Igwe Acheze pledged the cooperation of NNPC's workers to achieve the federal government's reform agenda for the corporation and the oil and gas industry. Experts on economic matters are advocating that states key into President Muhammadu Buhari's directive for all government payments and revenues domiciled in the Treasury single account. Speaking on NTA Tuesday Live, they say the action will grow the economy, especially the small and medium enterprises, block leakages, and serve the nation's billions of unaccounted funds. Talat Reservita reports.
The Treasury Single Account is a process and tool for effective management of government finances, banking and cash position that has worked for countries like India. Analysts say the policy entrenched in Section 80 and 162 of the 1999 Constitution started in 2012 to be a gradual process that started with e-payment and the Integrated Personal Payroll System (IPPS). The present government, they say, is taking this head on.
It will clear corruption in this country drastically, and nobody can even carry government funds and do any other things with it again. I will like it, I will support it.
If it is single account, you can give account of it even though if it is on his bed sleeping.
It is here that modalities and structures are put in place for the sustenance of the policy, and that the policy is unique in many ways and beneficial to all Nigerians.
If we believe that TSA will ensure good and effective management of resources, new resources, then it means that government will now have something which hitherto would have filtered away through the leakages for the good of Nigeria.
Let the national budget be national budget, where everybody, all the institutions of government come under appropriation, come under scrutiny based on the structure that is set up through the National Assembly. We want more transparency in government accounting, and these things are not straight because that is how the private sector runs. But what are the likely challenges, especially with the new policy that now gives the central bank upper hand over commercial banks that used to be custodians of large sums of government funding?
Commercial banks will be jumping up and down and saying that this is hurting them, this is taking away their liquidity, and they're going to raise interest rates. And I expect the central bank to counter that by releasing the intervention funds for the SMEs, the SME microcredit fund, and in fact, raise that money to 1 trillion naira so that there will be real money going to the private sector.
The most finance institutions must stand up and begin to innovative, and then we must go back to what was created in CBN that was scrapped at Abuja, which is new. I think the Bamba committee came together and put that. They should turn it into a law.
The policy experts believe will bring about the desired change Nigerians are yearning for. Talati Iwerike, NTA News.
As the Buhari administration intensifies the fight against corruption, financial experts have suggested application of proper accounting records and techniques to deal with the problem. This was at the public presentation of book co-authored by former Accountant General of the Federation, Kayode Nayeju, in Abuja. Salihu Abdullahi reports. This book, titled Paradigm: Thoughts on Contemporary National Issues, focuses on the plight of a gifted nation with huge but as yet untapped potential, and many are of the view that its unveiling is apt during the present era of change. The book is in 4 parts, dealing with pertinent issues that affect the lives of the people. It examines politics and governance with emphasis on lessons of the 2015 general elections, while part 2 is on the economy, dealing with unemployment and poverty, and turning Nigeria into a hub for investors. Other sections focus on social issues affecting unity such as ethnicity and tribalism, while the final segment addresses national development. Reviewer of the book, Professor Onyi Nwagbara, summarizes the import of the book and its perceived impact.
This book, The Paradigm, emphasizes on the unity of Nigeria, creating wealth in Nigeria regardless of where you're coming from.
Other notable personalities are of the view that the book represents the yearnings of Nigerians. The author, Sam Ohuabunwa, is unequivocal about his motivations to compile the articles, essays, and interventions, citing one recent example that's both annoyed and inspired him.
2 weeks ago or so, some people came to root out some IDP somewhere in the district, and one young boy got up and said, "Are we not in Nigeria? Am I not a Nigerian? That is my hero. That boy is my hero," because that's what I espouse.
A second book titled The Port Harcourt Volunteer that highlights important lessons that must be learned from the Nigeria-Biafra War was also unveiled. In Abuja, Dennis Adibwe, NK News. Sorry for the mix-up there. That was actually a book titled Paradigm: Thoughts on Contemporary National Issues by Sam Ohuabunwa, which examines the country's history and proffers solutions toward achieving a united, peaceful and prosperous nation that Nigerians desire, as reported by Dennis Odegunloye. And now to the earlier report. Experts on on the previous report. Now let's give you the clips of that report.
The book, titled Government Accounting in Nigeria and IPSA's Approach, focus on methodologies to enhance transparency in government transactions. The book also offers in-depth analysis of government reforms as well as policies that are aimed at ensuring accountability and efficiencies in public fund management. The head of civil service of the Federation, in a message to review the book, said, "It is most needed now that Nigeria is evolving new strategies to tackle corruption in public funds administration." Co-author of the book and one-time Accountant General of the Federation, Kayode Nayeji, said the book was put together in a manner to assist all tiers of government to enthrone accountability in financial management in accounting. What bothered me is that I can see a lot of financial ignorance in the society, and if people are ignorant, they cannot even plan and develop themselves. I want the people of Nigeria to let our country through the promotion of accountability. Other speakers at the event commend the book, which they describe as an intellectual work that will engender positive changes in the management of government resources. Sadiku Abdullahi, NTA News.
Lagos Network Center is a first stop on NationWide, where Governor Ambode embarks on local government reforms. Abdullahi will feed us with details of that and more. Over to you, Abdullahi.
Joseph, thanks for joining us in Lagos. Lagos State Governor Akinwumi Ambode at a parley with community associations in Lagos disclosed his administration's intentions to make local government more responsive to the need of the people through a reform program. The Trial Labode reports that the intended local government reform, according to the governor, is aimed at giving governance back to the people.
Local government administration in Nigeria has all it takes to provide the needed developmental apparatus at the grassroots if well funded.
We want to call for what has been done. The country chairman, senior and critics, that are part of the program. Local organizations that are able to serve their own benefits.
This is what prompted Governor Ambode to establish a Ministry of Local Government and Community Affairs
thereby placing community development in the heart of policy formation and making community governance the springboard for economic and social development in the state.
We will embark on local government reforms that will make them more responsive to your needs and provide a good platform for effective community development, thereby energizing additional social development statewide.
To achieve this, the governor said they will soon embark on a tour to all the local government and cultural development areas in the state to have the first-hand information on the people's welfare and needs. From Lagos, Victoria Labodi, NTA News.
An advocacy for inclusive education summit that will help to check the extrication of Nigerian indigenous languages and culture has been held in Lagos. Jane Ojukwu reports that the summit has tagged youth as cultural agents of change.
Nigeria is endowed with rich and diverse culture. This cultural heritage has been driven and sustained through history education, communication in indigenous languages, and cultural promotion. However, westernization and its attendant effects have rendered these hitherto vibrant channels of cultural transfer ineffective. The result is the near extinction of local languages and erosion of Nigerian culture. The summit therefore seeks to identify ways of strengthening these channels so as to build a strong sense of identity among Nigerian youth for culturally responsive leadership.
We have a role in affirming the value of our culture, affirming the need and the urgency of having our culture as a central piece of our social experience in Nigeria.
Observers say the reintroduction of history subjects in all levels of the school curriculum and the use of local languages in both formal and informal communication are key in reversing the ugly trend.
Let the first language the child will speak, let it be the local language. Parents and teachers can play a huge role in this. We need to help the children understand that speaking your language doesn't make you inferior. For us to be able to learn our culture, where we're from, what our ancestors did, everything about it, history needs to give that to us.
The summit was organized by Unveiling Africa, a non-governmental organization set up to contribute to the transformation of Africa through engagement and empowerment of the youth. In Lagos, Jane Ojukwu, NTA News.
Have been advised to exclusively breastfeed their children to ensure healthy growth and fight childhood diseases. This advice came to the fore the formal presentation of 2 books on breastfeeding and nutritional approach to diseases, written by Okechukwu Aniche of St. Dominic Catholic Church, Yaba, in Lagos. Report.
The book, Breastfeeding in Nature, enjoins mothers, especially nursing mothers, to always endeavor to breastfeed their children exclusively for the first 6 months. The author explains that the book was predicated on the decline in breastfeeding as a result of civilization and the devastating effect of not breastfeeding children by mothers, especially nursing mothers. Fathers also have a role to play. This is by providing balanced diet for the mothers and stress-free environment.
Optimal breastfeeding for 6 months without introducing any complementary food. But after 6 months, complementary food can come in so that they can get the advantage of the breast milk. It contains everything at the right quantity and quality for the child.
The book reviewer and medical practitioner Dr. Callistus Eze advised mothers, especially the working class, not to stop breastfeeding their children.
It is a natural approach to take in feeding children when they are born. Anything other than that is disruptive of nature.
Expose enough milk, have them in the fridge, and then they will feed the children, the baby, when they are hungry, instead of using artificial milk.
The second book on nutritional approach to diseases x-rays the increasing rate of vitamin A deficiency, which has become a global epidemic with high incidence in developing countries. The chairman of the event, Dr. Patrick Eziani, commended the author of the books for a job well done.
And that report ends nationwide from Lagos. And back to Joseph now for the continuation of the news in Abuja. Joseph.
Thank you, Abdullahi. President Muhammadu Buhari has been commended for the steps being taken to reorganize all sectors of the nation's economy. The Muhammadu Buhari and Oshibajo support group gave the commendation at a press conference in Abuja. Olanka Ojo reports.
The group insisted that the current administration has achieved so much since being sworn into office on May 29th. They further added that, rather than being criticized, President Buhari and his vice should be applauded for their efforts so far in dealing with issues of corruption, unemployment and insecurity.
We embark on the reform of federal MDS in the foreign areas. Mandated MDS to respond to all auditors within 3 months. Our anti-corruption crusade that have exposed the destination of stealing funds from the country.
The Nigerian government or the rest of the government have actually succeeded in the counter-terrorism.
The Muhammadu Buhari and Oshibajo support group is one of the support groups out to encourage the noble cause of the present administration. In Abuja, Olanka Ojo, NTA News.
Meanwhile, the leadership of Ijaw Youth Council has supported President Muhammadu Buhari in his efforts to reposition the Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and the anti-corruption war on public officials. President of the Ijaw Youth Council, Udens Eradri, made the commendation after stakeholders meeting. Near Ogidi reports.
The ongoing restructuring in the NNPC, the fight against corruption, and the amnesty program were the 3 key issues the Ijaw Youth Council deliberated on. Describing them as issues that really need to be looked at, the Ijaw Youth Council appealed to the federal government to extend the probe of public officials to 1999.
Corruption, anti-corruption is a war that everybody supports, but it must not be particularized to an individual.
The youth further said due process must be followed in the restructuring of the NNPC as some senior staff were allegedly dismissed under questionable circumstances.
The media should look at the allegations that have been raised. In a situation where the man has 1.5 years to go, he has not been found wanting by any competent authority. There is no reason whatsoever why the investigation should start.
The new administration was also advised to give prominence to development in the Niger Delta region as contained in the amnesty program. Near Ogidi, NTA News.
To political matters now, the People's Democratic Party says it is adopting a roadmap towards the speedy restructuring of the party to become very viral, strong and vibrant ahead of the 2019 general election. This was made known by the steering committee of the Restart PDP Project Media Chat. Olajide Bello has details.
After conceding defeat at the just concluded presidential elections and a smooth transition of the helm of affairs from the People's Democratic Party (PDP) to the All Progressives Congress (APC), the PDP decided to go back to the drawing board.
The Restart PDP project is driving a process to ensure that the party presents very credible, forthright individual to take over the helm of affairs at the Wadata Plaza headquarters.
The committee assured its members that issues of imposition of candidates and lack of party supremacy have been adequately addressed.
The steering committee of the Restart PDP project are calling on all its members to be more steadfast and uphold the ideals of the party, saying the party is going to restructuring for readiness for the 2019 general elections. In Abuja, Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Many thanks, Olajide. You're watching Nationwide, reaching you live on the network service of the NTA. We are taking a break now to return shortly on details on how 3 billion naira National Research Fund is being utilized. Don't go away.
Nigerian Television Authority, in collaboration with Wesco Economic Summit, is organizing Global Economic Summit in San Francisco, California, USA, from 12 to 16 November 2015. This summit is aimed at attracting foreign investors from the United States, United Kingdom, and other parts of the world to Nigeria. Target participants for the summit include state government, manufacturers, corporate organizations from different sectors of the economy and high net worth individuals. For details on sponsorship and participation, please call 0806 011 3222, 0816 640 8667, 0803 302 0855, 0818 571 3894.
Ultimate Hotels, Abuja, the ultimate place to be.
The Presidency, the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, welcome you to the 2015 Diaspora Day Conference, coming up on the 24th and 25th of August 2015. The theme of the conference is Diaspora and Nigeria Change Agenda, and the venue is the Conference Center, Presidential Villa, Abuja. Day 1, Monday 24th of August 2015, roundtable discussion and dinner time 4 p.m. Day 2, Tuesday 25th of August 2015, official opening ceremony and thematic sessions time 9 a.m. Special guest of honor, His Excellency Muhammadu Buhari, President Federal Republic of Nigeria. Attendance is strictly by accreditation. For more information, log on to www.diaspora.gov.ng. Announcer, Mrs. Ibukun Odishote, Permanent Secretary Political Affairs, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
Hello there, welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching Nationwide on the network service of the NTA. Now joining Miriam in our Jos studios, where Governor Lalong receives report of Transition Committee as Deputy Inspector General of Police charges Bauchi Command to step up security surveillance. Mariam, it's over to you now.
You're welcome to Jos. Australia has reiterated its commitment to deepen ties with Nigeria on educational matters for development of the nation. Australian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Jonathan Richardson, made this known when he visited the University of Jos. Kim Gort has to report.
Australian High Commissioner to Nigeria, Jonathan Richardson, says the visit is to gain closer understanding of the University of Jos and the scope of its educational activities. The High Commissioner notes that Australia will partner with the university in areas of engineering and medical sciences that will build up the institution.
The focus is on people that are already being in the workforce, seeking to upgrade their qualifications and have a good plan for integrating, coming back after they finish their studies and contribute to the organisation and to Nigeria's development more broadly.
Vice Chancellor, University of Jos, Professor Harold Mathai, while receiving the Australian High Commissioner, says the university
which has established fame in areas of research, is moving forward to attain international standards, especially in the newly introduced courses. Some Australian universities have established links with Nigerian institutions in recent times that may facilitate partnership with University of Jos. In Jos, Kim Gotts, NTA News.
A joint mega rally has been organized by the Federal Road Safety Corps to check the infrequent road accidents occasioned by reckless driving, particularly by tanker drivers. Nandwatnina Inget reports that the rally is in conjunction with major transport unions in Jos. Representatives of the Chief Executive of the Federal Road Safety Corps, Deputy Corps Marshal Abdullahi Hassan, said the essence of the rally is to reawaken all road users in the state on the need to collectively tackle the menace of road traffic crashes and work towards its possible eradication.
It is beyond comprehending you to not just about articulating you, it's not just about enabling demand and then acting government. It's all about seeing reason for us, for all stakeholders to have a positive change for the left.
Governor Simon Lalong, represented by the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Transport, Mr. Sunday Choji Samson, noted that the rally is apt as the enlightenment and sensitization of drivers is aimed at ensuring that members of the Corps are proactive in the discharge of their duties.
We ensure discipline and sanity on our roads for purpose of maximizing to the barest minimum the loss of lives and property on our roads.
The Zonal Commanding Officer, Assistant Corps Marshal Ali Ugumi, and the Sector Commander, Mr. Ford Oti, both expressed optimism that the Federal Road Safety Corps and Road Transport Union, as well as other road users, will bring to fore the desired change in drivers' attitudes, particularly on the road. In Jos, Nandwatnina Inget, NTA News. In line with global best practices on television production and services, NTA Training Directorate has commenced training and retraining of the organization's workforce across the nation. In one of such workshops held in Bauchi, Abuja Ali Wunti reports that the initiative was an operational transformation of not only the management but the entire staff.
The training program was aimed at effective digitization of television stations and quality production and broadcasting. It was also targeted at meeting the deadline of 2017 switchover from analog to digital broadcasting platform. The transformational initiative will put the Nigerian Television Authority on its cardinal vision of being a world-class television network worldwide. All the general areas were specifically directed to ensure that we keep on training our staff all the time. In his presentation, the research person, Saeed Ismail Ahmed, revealed that the conversion from analog to digital transmission in television stations will be a welcome development to the society at large. We call for more creativity to improvise digital transmitter for dynamic transmission. The benefits is enormous. With digital comes a very, very clear quality signal. Some participants expressed joy and gladness that the program has helped them to know much on digitization and operational delivery. I hope this type of training will go all over the NTA stations in the country. The training is really revealing, particularly to the staff of this industry, that is the Nigerian Television Authority. It gives us the first-hand information.
The management has tried so far to organize this training for us. It has really helped us. The training is very important to me because I used to hear the word digitalization, even though I was in the station, but I don't have much knowledge.
The training is centered on news and program packaging, directing, script writing for television and presentation. From Bauchi, I am Abubakar Ali Wunti, NTA News.
That's a wrap from Josh Joseph. Back to you.
Many thanks, Mariam. Well, with a 3 billion naira national research fund, the federal government is working out modalities to institutionalize research and development in Nigeria tertiary education institutions as a launch pad for the country's technological advancement. Franca Uzoma Olua reports that TechFund organized an interactive session with beneficiaries from the North Central on the workability of the project.
Research and development is historically the most cited metric of innovation in any economy. In many developed countries, 70% of research and development funds come from the industrial sector, but in Nigeria the statistic stands at 0.2%. It is for this reason that the Tertiary Education Trust Fund, TED-Fund, is refocusing its mission at repositioning tertiary education institutions for global competitiveness in the area of research and development.
In a recent report by the Ministry of Education to Mr. President, the case was made for increase in the 2% education tax collection by federal inland revenue to have a law that raises it to 3 to even 4%. If we increase the intervention and there is a patriotic application of the funds, the ranking of our universities would begin to compete with the very best in the world.
The institutionalization of research and development is in line with the federal government's drive to dedicate adequate resources to the development of science and technology.
And the effective educational system is crucial to building a sound and sustainable knowledge-based society to create quality knowledge.
But some say focus should be on market-driven research and product development.
These foreign powers are not interested in transferring technology to us. Because it's simple reason. If they transfer technology to you, you take over their market. And Nigeria has a wide market. When you are talking about industry, when you are talking about research, there has to be power.
For sustainable research development, many believe that effective partnership with relevant ministries, agencies, the private sector and academic unions is key.
For the participants at the 2-day interactive meeting, the establishment of a national foundation for research and development has become inevitable. This is to enable tertiary education institutions enhance productivity for wealth creation and national development. In Abuja, Franca Uzoma Olua, NTA News.
It took Nigeria 17 years from its first draft bill to the adoption of the Freedom of Information and subsequent assent by the former President Dr. Goodluck Jonathan on the 20th of May 2011. Now, the passage of the law is one thing. Turning it into a tool that gives citizens transparency and access to information is now the yearnings of Nigerians. Olain Kaujo, Campus to report.
The turnout for the passage of Freedom of Information Bill by stakeholders was like a dream that will never come true. Shortly after former President Jonathan was sworn in, the dream became a reality. With its importance for public accountability and equal treatment of all people under the rule of law, hence the workshop with the theme Broadening the Horizon of FOIA Desk Officers for Enhanced Compliance.
Everything about you is to be kept in a way that it can easily be accessed.
Director General NYC Brigadier General Johnson Olaomi reiterating that the Freedom of Information Act empowers members to have reasonable access to information, noted that government is committed to the fight against corruption and promotion of the rule of law, fundamental to good governance.
Whenever anybody calls for information and that information is with you, make it open as quickly as possible.
In another development, the 6-man committee drawn from the National Orientation Agency, NOA, and the NYSC have presented their report on how to drive value orientation of doing the right thing, using core members and staff of NOA. Director General NOA, Michael Mary, noted that the report will help in the fight against corruption, indiscipline, and creating Nigeria with self-belief and the potentials of the country.
I feel the outcome will be changing the direction one headed towards the adult development of prosperity.
Elijah 18. For more on Nationwide, we're taking you now to Enugu Network Center. On the top stories, Enugu State Government creates enabling environment for investors. These and more with Ngozi as a guide. Hello Ngozi, it's good to see you.
Hello Joseph, good to see you too. Enugu State Governor Chiripa Nyubani says his administration is ready to welcome investors to create employment for the citizens. The governor was speaking by the Irish ambassador, Shane Hall, who was at him at Government House in Enugu. Ijana Obreke has details. The governor thanked the ambassador for building relationships and making contacts that will assist to enhance development in the country. He noted that the government of Enugu State has created an enabling environment for foreign and local investors to be able to create employment for the citizens of the state.
I also appreciate the fact that when the relationship of foreign contacts and also the trade between Irish and Nigeria, Enugu State will welcome foreign investors.
The Irish ambassador, Sean Ron, congratulated the government of Nigeria for tackling the issue of election and the Ebola case, which was on the front burner upon his arrival in the country. He noted that insurgency in the northeast is an issue that should be addressed. The ambassador intimated the governor that trade between Nigeria and Ireland will soon commence as Irish trade mission will be coming to Nigeria towards the end of the year.
I use this week to familiarize myself with those contacts. It's also an objective of mine to find the increase the trade between Ireland and Nigeria.
The ambassador was accompanied by members of the Little Sisters of the Poor, Homes for the Elderly, in Enugu, Ijemu Vesi, and Tunis. The Speaker, Enugu State House of Assembly, Edward Obrasi, has enjoined members of the House committees to discharge their oversight functions effectively. He was speaking at the inauguration of the House Committees on Education and Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption. Stephen Ever has details. Fighting corruption is a critical job. The Speaker urged members of the Committee on Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption to face the job assigned to them with dedication and commitment. Also inaugurating the Committee on Education, the Speaker, represented by the Deputy, Mr. Don Okechukwu Ozobade, charged the members to work hard to ensure that the standard of education is lifted to a higher level in Enugu State. Responding, Chairman of Public Accounts and Anti-Corruption assured that the committee will not witch hunt anybody, but will work hard to ensure accountability in the use of public funds. Chairman Committee on Education also promised effective supervision of schools and activities of education authorities in Enugu State.
We are going to discharge our duties to the best of our ability as a joint hand to ensure that education is tried in Enugu State.
So far, 2 out of the 23 committees have been inaugurated. House committees get inaugurated, it is expected that they hit the ground running in carrying out their oversight functions, which involves supervising the activities and projects of government to ensure proper implementation. From the Enugu State House of Assembly, Susan Evan, NTA News. The Director General, Citizens and Leadership Training Center, Mr. Jabi Bawa, has advised Nigerian youth to be positive agents of transformation and symbols of national integration. He gave the advice at the closing ceremony of Leadership Training Program organized for students of federal government colleges in the Southeast. Kelechi Ochiara has details. Represented by the Director of Human Resource Management, Mr. Michael Fayolo, the Director General noted that the 3 weeks long training program was targeted on instilling in the youth the qualities of leadership and strategies to harness their potentials towards national development.
Coordinator, Citizenship and Leadership Training Center, while addressing the participants as the students to imbibe the habits of discipline and hard work.
The training was very fulfilling. It was very interesting, and the objective of the course they have achieved it.
The trained students promised to be committed to the progress and development of their various schools and society at large. The event featured presentation of awards and certificates was organized under Federal Ministry of Youth and Sports. The participants were drawn from 10 unity schools within Southeast Geopolitical Zone, including Federal Science and Technical College Ekpo, Benue State, in Enugu, Kelechi Ochiara, NTA News.
That does it from this zone. It's back to you, Joseph.
Many thanks, Ngozi. Now, available statistics from the World Trade Organization reveal that professional services currently account for 70% of global gross domestic product. This is why experts converged on Abuja to review strategies for exporting Nigeria's professional services, which currently stands at 51% gross domestic product. Vivian Idefefo has details.
Available data from the International Trade Center projects that by the year 2050, 80% of the world's population will be engaged in the services sector. Nigeria, whose rebased GDP reveals a 51% contribution from the services sector, cannot afford to be left behind in harnessing this potential, which is estimated at over $11 billion. With an enterprising population, a favorable geographical location and compatibility to European and other markets, Nigeria is looking into critical data collation in education, ICT, entertainment and financial services sectors to boost its GDP.
This is job creation at its best. This is where we can create jobs. Government cannot create jobs. It has to be the private sector. So we must grow up a strategy for them so they can do that.
Services are key to improving competitiveness. For example, in agriculture, you have services of extension workers giving them advice. That is a service. If they are good and recognized and supported to grow, services can actually contribute to the overall improvement of the economy. And that is one of the things that we're looking to see in Nigeria.
The Commonwealth Secretariat has identified cross-border, consumption abroad, commercial presence and movement of natural persons as the major avenues for exporting professional services. One of the challenges before the stakeholders is how to evolve strategies for tracking the volume of professional services exported and revenue earned from such exports.
I think that as far as services is concerned, 90% of what is required is awareness. The government must have the will to do what the private sector want to do. The government must ensure that there is a conducive environment in which the private sector can thrive and prosper. Governments don't produce goods and services. These are done by the private sector.
With sophisticated economies comes trade policies covering a vast array of activities and practices, hence the need to properly reposition the country's professional services for easy integration into the global supply chain while keeping jobs at home. In Abuja, Vivian Idefefo, NTA News.
Team of surgeons from Germany performs a surgical operation on lunar patients in Sokoto. Details in other reports as we join Bala in our Sokoto Network Center. Bala, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fine, Mr. Joseph, and welcome to Sokoto. Sokoto State Government says it will sustain partnership with Medicine Sans Frontiers to further enhance healthcare delivery services in the state. A team of surgeons from Germany currently carrying out surgical operation on some patients at the Normal Hospital in Sokoto has so far successfully treated 30. Sheikh Muhammad Deputy reports that the team had earlier suspended their coming to Sokoto for such operations due to security challenges in the north.
The team of doctors arrived to the state
on the 7th of this month and have so far screened 35 patients. 30 of them have been successfully operated on, which takes 5 to 6 hours per patient. Project coordinator, NOMA project, Rob Steve, said they are in the state support in the areas of nursing care, pharmacy, laboratory, and operation theatre, among others.
Attention to NOMA and to try to improve the lives of the NOMA patients. And I think this hospital has a good reputation, has a long history of helping NOMA patients.
The permanent secretary who expressed joy with the hospital operation said the collaboration is to provide efficient healthcare delivery services to the people.
This is a collaboration between partners and us. As such, it is expected to continue for a very long period, and our hope is that the surgeons and local teams will continue to cooperate.
The team of doctors is expected to depart the States on Friday this week. In Sokoto, Shoma Madeti, NTA News.
About 3 international routes on an inland port will be constructed in Kebbi State to link Nigeria and Benin Republic. The Kebbi State Governor, Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, who disclosed this following a meeting with President Boniai of Benin Republic in Cotonou, described it as a step taken by Nigeria to strengthen relationship between the two countries. Usman Abdullahi Shehu has more.
Governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu said the meeting is to discuss and cement the possibilities of improving road network and inland ports that will link the two countries and further strengthen political, economic and social relationship between the countries as instructed by President Muhammadu Buhari.
Discuss the possibility of creating a free port in one of those locations.
Senator Bagudu, however, commended President Boniai for his desire to build an African cooperation between Nigeria and Benin Republic, and assured him that Nigerian government is ever ready to exploit all avenues necessary to improve their relationship. President Boniai expressed his appreciation for the recent visit of President Muhammadu Buhari to Benin Republic and thanked Governor Bagudu for the visit, which is to further glue the cooperation and relationship between these countries. Earlier, Governor Bagudu and his entourage had met with Benin Republic Prime Minister Mr. Lilian Livingston at the border town of Tingal Isiaku, and were lifted to Cotonou to meet with the President. Similarly, Senator Atiku Bagudu and his entourage were taken around with Cotonou Port. And Cotonou, Benin Republic, Abdullahi Shehu, NTA.
In the meantime, the Kebbi State government has reiterated its commitment to end the menace of cattle rustlers and bandits in some parts of the state. The state governor Abubakar Atiku Bagudu, in a message to a joint meeting with communities and commander of the Nigerian army, Captain Emmanuel Joshua, deployed to Mere in the Nkosa local government area of the state. Again, Usman Abdullah Shehu completes the report.
Representing the Kebbi State Governor, the Deputy Governor stated that the visit is to ascertain the extent of damage done by the cattle thieves and to determine the extent of logistics required to end the lingering problem in the area. Through the extent of the area of operation, a number of villages were done, extent of damage. Nationwide Youngbe, however, assured the communities that government will not tolerate any act of lawlessness and promised to deal with them as the law prescribed. Some communities members expressed satisfaction with government commitment, adding that since the operation started, the activity of the wrestlers has stopped. The Deputy Governor also participated in the military raid in 17 communities, including Maurere in Kebbi State, Sanjeru in Zamfara State, and Telangana in Niger State. It could be recalled that the activities of bandits and cattle rustlers has been a challenging and lingering issue in the areas for many years, where the bandits destroys lives and properties. Only Usman Abdullah Shehu, NTA News.
And that's our package for Sokoto. It's back to Joseph in Abuja.
Many thanks. And now on the phone scene, South Africa's Justice Department to review Oscar Pistorius' early prison release And police release catch of Monday burning suspect. Say attack was by a network. Plus Russians court jails Estonian security for 15 years on charges of espionage. These are more on global tidbits with Kingdom Mandabisi.
The Progressive Women's Movement of South Africa and University Camp stands are protesting the decision by the parole board to release on Friday Olympic athlete Oscar Pistorius jailed for 5 years for killing his girlfriend University Camp after serving in 10 months. Though he is eligible to be released early, the Justice Department is considering intervening to prevent him from being released. And members of parliament in Germany have approved a $4 plan for Greece with 453 votes. In Turkey, a bomb attack in the southeastern part has killed 8 soldiers. The Kurdish PKK militants are being blamed for the attack. On science, a recent study released in the British Medical Journal has linked alcohol intake, even light and moderate drinking, to increased risk of cancer like mouth, throat and breast cancer. That's Global Tidbits, Chimden Martin Division, NTA News.
And on sports, coach Sunday Alicia insists on gradual rebuilding process for Super Eagles as former Olympic champion Sebastian Coe becomes the 6th president of the International Association of Athletics Federation. Details with Kene Emabudike on Sports Update.
Super Eagles coach Sunday Olusei says his crew will take the process of rebuilding the senior national team in a gradual manner to ensure that the players understand the task ahead of them. The former FC Cologne, Ajax, Juventus and Dortmund player this week in Abuja commenced training ahead of the 2017 Africa Cup of Nations qualifier against Tanzania in Dar es Salaam.
I don't believe you tell players what to do, you show players what to do. But I think it's the best way to make players understand. Visual education is better than, verbal. People interpret differently.
The heat is on at the ATP Cincinnati Masters with Roger Federer getting off to a winning start in his title defense, beating Roberto Bautista Agut 6-4, 6-4. Richard Gasquet saw off Nick Kyrgios 6-2, 6-1, while Thomas Berlucci crashed out after losing 6-2, 6-3 to Thomas Berdych. In the women's game, American Sloane Stevens beat 10th-seeded Carla Suarez Navarro 6-1, 6-2. Meanwhile, Venus Williams and Maria Sharapova have both withdrawn from the tournament, citing health concerns. Two-time Olympic gold medalist Sebastian Coe Tuesday in Beijing, China defeated rival Sergei Bobka of Ukraine by 115 votes to 92 to emerge the new president of the International Association of Athletics Federation, IAAF. One of Coe's first tasks will be to deal with the fallout from a series of doping allegations which have hit global athletics.
But it is my sport that drives me. It is the number one Olympic sport, and that we really want to do everything we possibly can to make sure that it is in the best possible shape.
Coe becomes only the 6th president in the organization's 103-year history, replacing 82-year-old Senegalese Lamine Dayak, who has been in charge for 16 years. With Sports Update, Kene Emabudike, NTA News.
And that Sports Update does it on NTA Nationwide for today. Thank you very much indeed for spending your time with us. Join us again at 6, 7 and of course 9 p.m. news, network news. I am Joseph Johnson. Have a great evening.